When President Obama signs his $787 billion stimulus plan into law on Tuesday, he'll set a new record. The single most expensive piece of economic legislation ever in our history. Passed without a single Republican vote in the House and only 3 in the Senate.
It's my understanding the president will sign it on Tuesday in Denver. Why Denver?
He wants to get out of Washington and show people all across America the benefits of what's inside this economic recovery and reinvestment plan. We thought Denver would be as good a place as any to highlight some of the investments, to put people back to work.
This is a jolt to the economy. It's a strong jolt. It's not perfect, but it certainly is a lot better than doing nothing, and a lot better, frankly.
No one suggested doing nothing, Chuck. No one suggested doing nothing.
Well, you know, we had a lot of people who said, take this out, take that out.
That's right.
Most of those things were taken out, and they still voted against the bill. The 2 biggest amendments that we accepted were Republican amendments. They still voted against the bill. We don't know what more to do in terms of bipartisanship.
On the House
if I may say,
well, how about the Senate?
If this is going to be bipartisanship, the country's screwed. I know bipartisanship when I see it. I've participated in it. I've gone back home and gotten primary opponents because I wanted to be bipartisan. There's nothing about this process that's been bipartisan. This is not change we can believe in.
Was this a skirmish over philosophical differences? Republicans don't like this bill. Or was it the beginning of a partisan war? People in your party coming to the calculation, let's just say no.
I don't know the answer to that. I do say in all candor that it was a bad beginning. It was a bad beginning because it wasn't what we promised the American people, what President Obama promised the American people, that we would sit down together. Look, I appreciate the fact that the president came over, talked to Republicans. That's not how you negotiate a result. You sit down together in a room with competing proposals. Almost all of our proposals went down on a party line vote. Now, I hope that with the next issue, a TARP will be coming up again, more money. I hope the next time we will sit down together and conduct truly bipartisan negotiations. This was not a bipartisan bill.
There's a different conversation in this town often than what's going on in the country. On cable television for the last few weeks, you've heard the president's plan is in trouble. You know, this big discussion about Republicans and Democrats and so on and so forth. Out in the country, people were saying, I'm losing my job, I'm worried about my health care, I'm worried about staying in my home, I'm looking for someone to act. And they were supportive of what the president was trying to do. And it's always important to remember that the chatter in this town is not the chatter around kitchen tables in this country. And as long as we listen to the kitchen table chatter, I think we're going to stay on a truer course.
I want to move on to the banks.
Will it be necessary to nationalize major U.S. banks at some point to keep them healthy?
Our goal is to have a strong, vibrant, private sector financial system, and that is our assumption, and that's what we're working toward.
So nationalization is not something you anticipate?
We will do what we need to do, but our long-term goal is to have a strong private sector banking and financial system.
I think if you put most of our major banks under a stress test, they're going to fail. This idea of nationalizing banks is not comfortable, but I think we have gotten so many toxic assets spread throughout the banking and financial community throughout the world that we're going to have to do something that no one ever envisioned a year ago, no one likes. But to me, banking and housing are the root cause of this problem. And I'm very much afraid that any program to salvage the bank is going to require
so what would you
the
do
government
now?
to get. I would not take off the idea of nationalizing the banks.